Gamers have spoken. They are not taking this nonsense anymore. It seems like 2024 is the year of the big flops. They can't hide it anymore. This is not just me being a hater or complaining. There is so much evidence out there that gaming is clearly struggling because of how bad video games are now. The truth is, if you make good video games, you make a lot of money. If you make bad video games, you make no money. I have no idea how they don't understand this. It is so simple. The biggest news as of late is that the much anticipated game Concord has become one of the biggest flops of all time in the history of gaming. The game has been delisted and removed from everything. They gave refunds to a lot of people. The game went live for only 2 weeks, then it was shut down due to how bad the sales were. There has almost never been anything that has been as bad as Concord, unless you compare it to the E.T. the extraterrestrial game, with sales so bad that they even ended up just dumping a bunch of the games in a pit and burying them, leaving the games there and never looking back. This is a new testament of how people are rejecting the modern agenda of video games. People want great video games again, and they are making a stand. Concord was a game that people never liked from the beginning. Even when the trailer came out, everyone was quick to dismiss the game. This is all true. The evidence is how poorly the game performed. After release, Concord only had about 700 players at its peak. I found out that Concord had more players in its beta than it did after release. This is such a memeable moment. People have finally decided to speak with their wallets. The funniest part about this situation is that Concord was a big AAA project that cost Sony over $200 million to make. The part that makes even less sense is how Concord was in development for 8 years. Whether it was in 8 years of active development or not is irrelevant. That would mean that Concord had been in development since 2016. I have no idea how back in 2016 they came up with such a bad idea. The other huge problem with Concord is the game itself. One of the biggest issues people have is with the characters. I have no idea where they got their ideas and inspiration from. The characters in the game look absolutely horrible. There are 16 characters in the game. While some of them are not entirely bad, the characters range from really bad to completely unimaginative. Like, look at this robot. What is this supposed to be? It looks like a fridge with the robotic arms and legs. There's another robot that is at least a little bit better. It looks almost like a reference to CP-30 from Star Wars. There is this other character that annoys my eyeballs. What is this? Looks like a spacesuit that was made by a 4-year-old child. The helmet on her head looks like a Tupperware container, and the suit looks like it was built from random junk. Most of the human characters don't look that bad. They either look boring or very unattractive. There are a few alien characters in the game who at least maintain a decent alien image, apart from this green dude who just looks like a human with cheap special effects makeup on. I don't know if they took reference from the aliens from the movie Battleships. This isn't anything new. It has been happening a lot lately. People rejecting the modern agenda that excludes the majority and welcomes the minority. There is this other game called Dustborn that it seems people really don't like. The game has a lot of modern ideology, which is something that has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I personally have no interest in the game, but I keep hearing about it. It's a weird game that I have no idea who it's made for. There are a lot of negative reviews. This is a game that was made for critics, because by the looks of it, people generally don't like the game. The critic scores are always good for every game. They are never really honest about the game. The user scores speak for themselves. The user scores are the reviews you can always trust. It seems like some people have rejected the game, while some people like the game. It makes no difference to me because I won't be playing the game. The one crazy part about this game is that it was funded by the government in Norway. Really weird if you ask me. Black Myth: Wukong is a game that blew up onto the scene. People were hyped after watching the gameplay trailers. After the game's release, it has broken sales records, rubbing it in the face of the Western gaming market, boasting 4.5 million copies sold at launch, 10 million copies sold within the first 3 days, and now it's up to 18 million copies sold. This game is a game changer. The Western video game industry has just been dealt a huge blow. The long-term repercussions of all the Western media has just been undone. People now know the truth, and things should be changing very soon. Black Myth: Wukong is proof that video games still have hope. The Chinese and Japanese video game industry is making a name for themselves. The only thing they're doing doing different is just making great video games. They are passionate about their video games, and it speaks in how the video games perform. Space Marine 2 has also just released, and people are so hyped for the game. So far, people seem to be having a great time with the game. I have only heard good things about the beta that people played. I would love to play the game, but I'm not confident enough to make such a big purchase. I would rather wait to see the reviews before committing to such an expensive price. I am a huge fan of the Warhammer 40k franchise, and I would love to see what the sequel is about. I will be keeping my eye out for the game, and if it comes down to a more decent price, then I might just buy it. The other big thing I just want to quickly mention is Star Wars The Acolyte show has been cancelled after much backlash about how bad the show was, and the fact that the Star Wars fans hate the show. The show was really law-breaking and ruined the image of Star Wars, and it appears that many people are happy about the show's cancellation. I haven't been interested in Star Wars for a while now. I feel that there is too much Star Wars related media, and people are going through Star Wars fatigue right now. The new Star Wars Outlaws game recently released. The reviews seem to be mixed but more decent than all out bad. It's not a game I am interested in, but there isn't that many bad things I can say about it, and my interest in the game speaks for itself. All I can say is that I hope all these bad video games will finally get us some good video games. I really want video games to be fun again. I really want new video games to be fun again. I love old video games, but I also want new games. I want sequels that carry on the story. I want the sequel to be better than the game before. The truth is, if you try to make a game that pleases everyone, if it's not done right, it will end up not pleasing anyone. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.